I've seen this program by so-and-so. Great program. Not sure if it's the right one for you. So I tried to find like the 80% solution for folks a little bit more like in my camp. And I think there's a lot of people that listen to the show that are kind of like that. And I just thought I'd give it a shot. And so that said, as it started to come together, I got really excited about it. Like I started nerding out on it and I was going, okay, how do we tweak this, do this? And I was like, it's not going to be the perfect program, Scott. Like let's dial this back a little bit and let's make sure we start in the right place and we can let it evolve to where it needs to get to for the people that are in the program, not what I think they need, but what do they need based on what we're going to be measuring and what we're going to be doing in the program. And how are they going to know that? So those are the things I wanted to cover today.
Well, kind of a couple cool points that I was thinking about when you were talking about that. So one, I think what's really cool about this program that is different than the other programs that we've released is this is kind of a good in-between for you to really coach the masses without coaching them one-on-one as an individual client. Where when we write this kind of evergreen program where it's just, here's the program, do as you will with it, right?
Yeah, like a 16-week or something
exactly.
like that, 12-week, yep.
Like our other programs like Strong and Max and things like that, where there will be some interaction between you and the participants and there'll be some data points that kind of impact, like there is a general plan moving forward, but it is kind of this in-between of you're coaching them a little bit more than you would with an evergreen program without needing to buy into full-on one-on-one coaching. So I really like that. And it's interesting, we were talking about, for the person who wants to kind of be ready for things at all times. And I think a lot of people have gotten really pigeonholed in one very specific style of training.
Yep.
So I do the bodybuilding stuff, I do the powerlifting stuff, I do the kettlebell conditioning stuff, whatever. And they get really held into that. And really for the general population, most people like you were saying, like we want to look a little bit better. They want to move a little better. They want to be a little bit stronger. But when we get uber periodized, and that there is merit to that, especially if you're like an athlete with an off season and there is a time where you want to peak things, there is still benefit to compounding and building and having more of a focus at certain periods of time. But for the average exerciser or for the person, even the high performer, but they don't have an off season, they need to be able to perform at all times. You can still make really great progress in all these areas. There may be points where there's a little bit more of a focus, but you're not forgetting about the conditioning. And honestly, with me, I felt that a lot in my own training in the past, where even this past year or two, I kind of went down heavy into more of like a bodybuilding, trying to put on some muscle. And then when I came back to try to do things that were athletic again, I felt like shit. Yep. I felt like I wasn't moving well. I wasn't coordinated. I was stiff. And I've really like come back to kind of this style of training where I'm doing a little bit of things and I have a focus and I'm kind of pushing. And I feel way better. I feel like my performance is going up. I'm still getting stronger, but I can go out and kind of do the things I want to do without feeling like, oh, well, I'm not in my conditioning cycle right now. So sorry, I can't go on this hike that you want to do at this cool opportunity for that or whatever. So even whether you're the more advanced person or the person who's kind of looking to take things a little bit more advanced from that intermediate level, this is something, a style of training that a lot of people don't do. And really, I think it's how a majority of people should be training, that you're not a competitive bodybuilder. You are someone who just wants to feel stronger, put on some muscle, look good naked, but be able to get on the floor with your kids or do all the activities you want to be able to do. And so I think that's where there's a lot of value in this style of program.
Yeah. So going back to the whole concurrent training, method, it gives the individual the ability to work on their strength. It gives the individual the ability to work on their power, to express their strength. Mm-hmm. So you're bridging that gap. But then then there's the capacity component as well. So you're working on your engine to help you be able to do the power and the strength. So,
for sure.
It makes it very efficient, time efficient for an individual. You're not spending, multiple hours in the gym, multiple days of the week. So the other thing I like about the program that you've put together is the social aspect. So our standalone programs are basically that, standalone. The person gets the program and then they do it on their own. Whereas with this, you've also created a forum to where there could be interaction with the other individuals who are doing the program, so they can have interaction with other people, ask questions, or any of us can get on at any point and answer people's questions. So that's another feature about this program that is different and I think is beneficial. for the user.
Well, and yeah, to go back to what you were saying about, wanting to fit all these in. And I think there are people who attempt to try to fit in strength work, power work, and conditioning work, but they start to feel trash, like you're talking about. Like, man, how do I get this all in? And so I think finding the nuance of how do you manage the volume and the intensity of each thing you're doing, like the intensity of the strength work, the intensity of the power work, the intensity of the conditioning work, and the volume, all those things. It takes a lot of nuance to be able to progress on all those things while still be able to live life and not feel like shit and not feel beat up all the time. So.
And let's not forget, I didn't mention it and you haven't mentioned it either, but the mobility component as well.
For sure.
That is also programmed in here.
Often very skipped.